Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. Not fooling on that one. Excuse me, we're here for our Administrative Matters meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Kristen Stevens, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. With me is my fellow commissioner, Commissioner John Kafalis, and Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally is away this morning. To our right on the dais, we have Diane Cheney, who's joining us from the clerk's office to help us out with note-taking. We have our Assistant County Manager, Lori Kadrich. From our Public Affairs Department, we have Tom Clayton, and we have Sarah Martin from the Commissioner's Office. And we will begin this meeting with public comment. We have one person signed up, that's Paul Gessler. So we'll ask Paul to come up, and then we'll see if anyone else would like to give comment. And Paul, please, when you come up, you'll have 3 minutes to speak, and please introduce yourself.
Paul Gessler, Fort Collins, longtime community and peace activist. I want to speak today on what is happening nationally, the behavior. I would like to have a meeting with our county sheriff and all three commissioners to impart to him the need to arrest Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth for his criminal behavior due to PTSD. Okay. And also the arrest of Elon Musk as a domestic terrorist. And this isn't any April Fool's joke. We had 70 plus days of an April Fool's joke to the country, and we, the people, have had enough. So I would like your comment on what I just said. Can we follow up with a meeting with the sheriff that can solve a lot of potential civil unrest? And one other comment, I've been going to the Saturday vigil at College in Mulberry. And 2 weeks ago, we had a person with an Israeli flag and an American flag, Palestinian flags, a lot of props, baby bags, symbolizing the genocide in Gaza. And it was a peaceful demonstration, but the feelings were there. And I think these things need to happen because I think that's how the restorative justice is going to happen, right at the grassroots level. But we need to act on the county level to impart to FBI Director Patel and our Attorney General. This is criminal behavior being rubbed in the faces of we the people. And I thank you for the time.
Thank you, Paul. Is there anyone else in the audience who wanted to speak? I think it's mostly staff today, but all right. We will. We have no one on the phones, according to Sarah, so we will close public comment and bring it back to the commissioners. Commissioner Kafalis, any response to the public comment this morning?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Paul. As requested, my response is that I'm, as you know, well, we've known each other for many years, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you about the documents you've provided me with and the shared concerns that we have regarding the state of the world, the state of the country. So more than happy to have that conversation, and we've had numerous ones over the years and engaged in different activities to witness. Regarding your request for a meeting with the sheriff and the commissioners, once again, I'm happy to discuss that with you, but the sheriff doesn't have jurisdiction, and I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, to be quite honest. So,
Mark the
stop it,
chain of
Paul.
command.
Paul, this is not how it works. I'm happy to talk to you offline.
Okay.
I'm happy to talk to the sheriff. Thank you. Have a nice day. And bring this to his attention. But the sheriff doesn't go around. I don't believe it's his jurisdiction to arrest the folks that were mentioned.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, and thank you, Paul, who I know Paul has left, but I just appreciate the passion and understand that we're all have concerns about, things that are happening at the national level, and we take care of things here at the local level. So we will, we encourage people to come back if they have more public comment, and to email us or give us a phone call if they have any questions for us or comments that they want to deliver. So,
Yeah, and I'll call Paul. I'll speak with him.
thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. So we will move on in our agenda, and our next item is approval of the minutes for the week of March 24th, 2025. And Commissioner Kvalas, I will ask you to make a motion for that.
Yes, I move to approve the minutes for the week of March 24, 2025. Is that?
That's correct. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. And we will move on to our schedule review with Sarah.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for April 7th through the 12th, 2025. On Monday, April 7th, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will attend the Combined Behavioral Health Consumer Advisory Committee, Policy Council, and Technical Advisory Committee meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the Behavioral Health Services building at 2260 West Trilby Road in Fort Collins, or virtually via Zoom. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend a local government workshop at the First Presbyterian Church at 531 South College Avenue in Fort Collins. On Tuesday, April 8th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m., there will be a legislative direction to county staff in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., Commissioner Kvalas will attend the Environmental and Science Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the Carter Lake Conference Room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. On Wednesday, April 9th, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Commissioners Kvalas and Shattuck McNally may attend the Habitat for Humanity We Build Breakfast at Poudre High School at 201 South Impala Lane in Fort Collins. From 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Kvalas may attend the Workforce Development Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. From 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Governing Board meeting. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the NOCO Partners Land Conservation Tour in Berthoud. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Rural Action Caucus meeting. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Energy, Environment, and Land Use meeting. From 4:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioners may attend the Counties and Commissioners Acting Together All Members meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it is at the AMP at 1580 Logan Street in Denver or virtually via Zoom. From 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Kvalas will attend the National Crime Victims' Rights Celebration event at the Lincoln Center at 417 West Magnolia Street or, in Fort Collins. On Thursday, April 10th, from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fort Collins Downtown Development Authority Board meeting at the Innisphere Ventures at 320 Vine Drive in Fort Collins. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioners may attend the Colorado Counties, Inc. Steering Committee meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 800 North Grant Street in Denver or virtually via Zoom. From 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the virtual Larimer County Interagency Oversight Group meeting. From 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Office on Aging Advisory Council meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the Larimer County Loveland campus at 200 Peridot Avenue in Loveland, or virtually via Zoom. From 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority Finance Committee meeting. From 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., Commissioners Kafalis and Shattuck McNally will attend the Colorado State University Public Health event at the Laurie Student Center at 1101 Center Avenue Mall in Fort Collins. On Friday, April 11th from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Colorado Counties Inc. board meeting at 800 Grant Street, Suite 500 in Denver. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioners may attend the Colorado Counties Inc. Steering Committee meetings. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 800 Grant Street, Suite 500 in Denver, or virtually via Zoom. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together member check-in meeting. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual opioid outcome data work group. From 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioners Kafalis and Shattuck McNally will speak at the 31st Annual Northern Colorado Intertribal Powwow Association Powwow Welcome Address at the Northside Aslan Community Center at 112 East Willow Street in Fort Collins. And on Saturday, April 12th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis will host a community conversation for the LaPorte community. Topics are community involvement and bring your own topic. This will be at Me Oh My Pie at 3310 West County Road 54G in LaPorte.
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioner Kafalis, any changes or additions?
I have one addition.
Wonderful.
Sarah, on Saturday, April 12th at 12 noon, and I've extended this invitation to my fellow commissioners, but at 12 noon at the Veterans Plaza of Northern Colorado, we've been invited to attend an unveiling of the new sign. The county helped support that effort financially in other ways. And so at 12 noon, Veterans Plaza of Northern Colorado, unveiling of new sign. I will be there, and I did extend an invitation to my fellow commissioners. I imagine they'll be there as well. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, I will be there as well on that Saturday. So thank you, Commissioner, for extending that invitation. And then on Sunday, I will be attending the powwow at noon. And so not on Friday as with the other two commissioners, but spoke to the organizer, and that works out well. So, and that is it for me. So thank you. All right, so we'll move on to the consent agenda, and I will read through the items on the consent agenda, and we will see if we want to pull anything. So our first items are abatements. There are 17 petitions for abatement or refund of taxes, and there's more information on those online if you'd like to see that. Next, we have 9 agreements. The first agreement is a 2025 grant agreement between Larimer County on behalf of the Larimer Regional Opioid Abatement Council, and that is a grant agreement with the Northern Colorado Health Alliance, and the total dollar amount for that is $450,000. With a term that runs through next year. The next agreement is another agreement between Larimer County on behalf of the Regional Opioid Abatement Council, and that is also an agreement with, that's actually an agreement with Northern Colorado Health Network. And that term of that agreement runs through March 31st, 2026, and the total dollar amount of that is $442,863. Next item is a ballot box lease agreement between the City of Fort Collins and Larimer County to lease an area at 1200 Rain Tree Drive, Fort Collins, for the operation and maintenance of a ballot drop box and security camera equipment, and that will run through July 31st of 2030. Then there's a ballot box lease agreement between the city of Fort Collins and Larimer County for a ballot box at 4915 Fossil Boulevard. And that will include security camera equipment, and that also runs through July 31st, 2030. Again, the fifth item is also a ballot box lease agreement, and that is for a ballot box to lease an area at 2221 South Timberline Road, and again with security camera equipment, and that is through July 31st of 2030. Another one with City of Fort Collins to lease an area at 112 East Willow Street for a ballot drop box and security camera equipment through July 31st, 2030. The seventh item is also a ballot box agreement between the City of Fort Collins and Larimer County, and that is to lease an area at 626 Linden Street, Fort Collins, for the operation and maintenance of a ballot drop box and security equipment. And again, the term is through July 31st, 2030. So a lot of ballot boxes. The eighth item is an escrow agreement between the Board of County Commissioners and CBEP Solar 3. That'll be CB Solar 3 will execute landscaping collateral in the amount of $94,000, which represents 125% of the aggregate cost of the outstanding site and landscape improvement as part of the landscaping plan and revegetation plan. And that begins on April 1st, 2025. And then finally, the last agreement is an amended collaborative management program memorandum of understanding for the Larimer County Interagency Oversight Group, and that's a requirement of the Colorado Department of Human Services for our local collaborative management program. And the state allocation was $243,755, and that's for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. We have 3 appointments to boards. The first is a recommended appointment to the Tanager Public Improvement District for Chris Beaker and Karen Cahill. They will have full-term appointments that will end on November 30th, 2028. And another appointment to that same board, but a midterm appointment for Stephen Goodard, and that term will end November 30th, 2026. And then we have a recommended midterm appointment to the Flood Review Board for Matthew Hickox, and that term will end June 30th, 2027. We have 3 liquor licenses. The first one is for Hang Loose Liquor in Loveland, Colorado. That is a renewal of a retail liquor store license. We have another renewal for Rev Enterprises doing business as Sandy's Convenience Store in Fort Collins, and that is for a fermented malt beverage and wine license. And finally, a renewal for Villa Tatra in Lyons, Colorado, and that is a hotel and restaurant license. We have 3 miscellaneous items. We have a decommissioning bond for CBEP Solar 3 to cover the potential cost of removal for their services. We have the second item is a monitoring and permit deviation report. This report is required by the air emissions permit for Larimer County landfill, and we are in compliance with all permit conditions. And finally, the third miscellaneous item is for the legislative positions that the Board of County Commissioners has taken, and those can be found online or on the Secretary of State's website. And our last item is a compensation policy update by our Human Resources Department. So that is all for the consent agenda. Commissioner Kafalis, would you like to remove anything from the consent agenda?
No.
I would not like to remove anything either. Then I would ask you to make a motion to approve this consent agenda.
Yes, of course. I move to approve the consent agenda for April 1, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on these items? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. All right. Our next item And our only discussion item is to sign the proclamation acknowledging April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. So we have some guests in the audience, some Larimer County staff. And so thank you for being here. And Angela, you're going to be kicking off this item and talking about it?
Yes.
Wonderful.
I am.
Welcome.
Good morning. It's good to see all of you. I'm Angela Mead, Deputy Division Manager with Child, Youth, and Family Services. It's a division of the Larimer County Department of Human Services. And I'm here today to recognize April as National Child Abuse Prevention Month and to present a proclamation for your approval. Joining me are three exceptional women, caseworkers currently employed with our department: Larissa Ludigers, Kristen Kapperman, and Jessica Slate. They were recognized last year for their outstanding work in child welfare, protecting children and supporting families. They're going to share a little bit about their experience and insight into the importance of this work. Before turning the microphone over to them, I would like to just share a few data points with you about the pervasiveness of child maltreatment, not only in our nation, but in the state of Colorado. I was able to prepare some data, and I pulled that from NCANS, just so you know the reference point. In federal fiscal year 2023, more than 3 million children underwent assessments or alternative response in child welfare across our nation. Over 546,000 children were identified as victims of abuse and neglect through those assessments. A staggering 2,000 children actually lost their lives due to child maltreatment. In Colorado alone, there was 11,305 cases where we determined substantiated findings of child abuse and neglect. And of those cases, 117 of them were determined either to be fatal, near fatal, or egregious harm, meaning very serious child abuse. And those cases were reviewed by our state child fatality review team in Colorado. The impact of child abuse extends itself well beyond childhood. It impacts adult lives in terms of their health, their mental well-being, and economic stability. Child Protective Services plays a crucial role in safeguarding children and in supporting families through a family-centered, kin-first, and trauma-informed approach. Many safety concerns that we see in our work with families, they stem from broader challenges like poverty, substance abuse, and mental illness. And these all can be addressed successfully through collaborative approaches of treatment, community resources, services, and support. Here in Larimer County, we are very fortunate to have dedicated professionals who work tirelessly to strengthen families and to ensure children are safe, supported, and thriving. These partnerships with families, community organizations, and service providers are essential in creating a stable and nurturing environment for every child in our community. At this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to Larissa, Kristen, and Jessica, who are going to share a little bit about their experiences and the importance of child welfare and preventative services in our community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Larissa Luters. I've been an intake caseworker with the department for about 3.5 years. So I just want to start by thanking you for taking the time to recognize the hard and important work that is done with families each year by child protection staff. I don't feel like I could talk about this work without highlighting the importance of community. Simply put, people need people. Humans are built and hardwired for connection with others. Having a support network or a village is something that a lot of families who come to the department's attention are lacking. Being a caseworker provides me with the unique opportunity to learn from people who I might not have otherwise met or built relationships with. The action of building a support network is one of my favorite parts of being a caseworker. I conduct my casework practice with the belief that supporting kids means supporting their parents and their families, and keep this at the forefront of my day-to-day interactions. I view community and connection as a safety net for children whose families are struggling. A safety net means the minimization of trauma and impact on kids if their parents fall back into old habits or continue to struggle. Being a caseworker can often be summarized as planting seeds knowing that you might not ever see them grow. I have said that to myself at least once a week for my last 3.5 years at the department. What I know to be true is that having community connection and support for these families is what keeps the seeds growing long after the department has closed.
Hi, my name is Kristen Kapperman. I've been an intake caseworker in Larimer County for almost 8 years now. I'm also a mom of 2 little girls. Since becoming a mom, I have been more compassionate and understanding in my practice. Being a parent is the most beautiful and also the most challenging thing a person can do. I understand we can have all the love and the best intentions for our children, and that at times our past traumas or experiences can impact our choices or actions. Sometimes we have really difficult days. I also believe in the power of a supportive, protective village, as well as treatment to be the best version for ourselves and our children. This is the approach I have in my casework, searching for protective factors within the family and their support system while empowering families to be the best version of themselves. I love working for Larimer County with the practice that we have. There are incredible, diverse resources in our community that many families have not previously had the opportunity to take advantage of. Larimer County has also built strong partnerships with many professionals in our community, whether that's like medical staff at hospitals, therapeutic practices, our court system, law enforcement, and many more that allow us to partner with families in the least restrictive manner so that families remain together and out of the child welfare system. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Slate, and I've been an ongoing worker with Larimer County for about 6.5 years now. And as an ongoing worker, we oftentimes look at the 5 protective factors, which are family functioning and resilience, nurturing and attachment, social supports, caregiver practitioner relationships, and concrete supports. I have the opportunity to be a part of our county's family treatment court team, which is a problem-solving court that specializes with parents who are struggling with substance abuse. They have to be at a moderate to severe level of substance abuse in order to be a part of this court. We have started doing a 5 protective factors survey with our parents when they phase up from level 1 to level 2, which means they have at least 14 days of proven sobriety. And then we test them again right before they graduate the program almost a year later. And I wanted to share a story of hope. I have a mom who just graduated from family treatment court about 2 weeks ago. And we sat together and did the survey in November with plenty of tears. And in November of 2024, she scored a 2.84 out of a scale of 0 to 4. And we sat there talking about how different things would have been had we scored her at the beginning of her case, when she would have been closer to a 1. When we rescored her just this past month, she scored 3.32 based on the work that she did with our department in the court system. That's a 16.9% increase, and she identified that the biggest areas of growth that we were able to work with her to achieve are building her a solid support network around her and her family, minimizing power struggles between her and her children, helping her gain self-confidence, increasing communication between people in her life, including professional supports and natural supports, her relationship with her professional team, which many of those people she hopes to maintain contact with, even though we've reached reunification and are about to close her case. And resilience on benefits and her ability to find what she needs without having to rely on the department for help, and her relationship with her son and sense of community. It's been wonderful watching her blossom and grow, and I love the fact that as an ongoing worker, part of my job is getting to see this very frequently. I wanted to make sure to end with a story of hope to leave a smile on everyone's face.
Thank you, Jessica. Did you have more that you wanted to say? Okay. Well, thank you all for sharing. So, Commissioner, did you let's read the proclamation maybe, and then we'll do the do the motion and then, sorry, losing my train of thought here. We'll do the motion and then we'll make some comments. Does that sound fine?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm happy to read the proclamation. Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, April 2025. Whereas the safety and well being of children are fundamental to the strength and future of our community, and child abuse and neglect remain urgent issues that demand our collective attention, action, and commitment. And whereas every child deserves to grow up in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment, free from harm, so they can reach their full potential. And whereas childhood trauma, including abuse and neglect, can have profound and lasting effects on an individual's physical, emotional, and mental health, impacting not only their future, but also the well being of generations to come. And whereas research shows that preventing adverse childhood experiences, ACEs, and fostering positive childhood experiences significantly improve lifelong health, educational outcomes, and economic stability. And whereas families are stronger when they have access to resources, support, and opportunities they need before a crisis occurs, and strong families create safe and thriving communities. And whereas effective child abuse prevention requires the collaboration of child welfare professionals, educators, healthcare providers, law enforcement, faith based and community organizations, businesses, and families working together to build protective factors and support systems. Whereas we recognize the dedication and tireless efforts of child protection workers, law enforcement personnel, first responders, human service agencies, and community advocates who work every day to protect children and strengthen families. And whereas we must continue to address systemic barriers that put families at risk and commit to equity driven approaches that ensure all children have an opportunity to succeed. And now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month in Larimer County. We call upon all members of the community to take action, whether through advocacy, education, volunteering, or offering support to families to help create a community, where every child is safe, valued, and given the opportunity to thrive. Dated today, first day of April 2025. Thank you. Shall I do the motion?
That would be great. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah. I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table, and I think there is further discussion. Would you like to make some comments, please?
You'd like me to go first?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate all of you folks, and I'm glad that we do this every year. I don't know if you noticed, I wore my blue sweater. It's getting kind of old and raggedy, but that's okay. Someday I'll go around and maybe buy a new sweater. I appreciate all of the comments that folks made, and Angela and her team, but things like a supportive, protective village, family centered, involving the entire family, partnerships, trauma-informed case management and support. It was good to hear the story about the family treatment court, and and as one example of restorative justice, that term was brought up earlier, and it's a way that we have all these problem-solving courts to try to help people work through things, support people. They have to make those choices and move forward in their lives and their children's lives. So that's a wonderful story of hope. Um, I would mention I, that on Saturday I was able to attend the networking portion of the Realities for Children mega gala. I'm getting old for these galas, but I was there for the, I believe I was there, and I got to network with a few folks, and it was quite extravagant. And also on Thursday night, I attended the Project Self Sufficiency event, uh, that supports single parents and their families to get through their education, their job training, address child care, housing issues, and all that. Interestingly, the keynote speaker was a single parent dad, so that was good. That was good. Um, in closing, I'll share a story. I think it's relevant, and I'm sorry that I've gone on. Uh, you know, I it's a community thing, and if you ever go by our house on Sycamore Street, you'll see that I've kind of created this what I call a gnome spirit garden, and it's got all manner of things. And one of them is a stuffy. It's Snoopy as far as I can tell, and it was abandoned, so we gave it a home in the gnome spirit garden. And you've probably noticed that we've had rain lately, and I didn't think much about it. I figured Snoopy could handle the rain, but he got pretty waterlogged. And when I came back from the Project Self Sufficiency thing, I looked over there, and I saw there was it looked like a cardboard box covering Snoopy. And I didn't think much of it. I thought maybe the wind had blown it onto Snoopy. Then I came back out, and the box underneath it was written. It was by a child because you could tell the writing, but basically, she and the mom decided to go home and get this box and cover Snoopy, to protect Snoopy. Doggo, Snoopy was referred to as Doggo, from the rain. And then I went back out there. I said, they're right. And so I actually found what could be construed as a rain jacket. So when it rains, I will cover up Snoopy. And I wrote on the box and I put it out there. Thank you. It was a good idea to make sure that Snoopy or Doggo is dry. So I offer that because that child is learning, has learned, continues to learn empathy, even though it was a little stuffy. And to me, that is a big deal. But I'm kind of I'm kind of emotional with this stuff a little bit. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Lori, would you like to offer any words?
Thank you, Commissioner. I would just like to offer my thanks to Angela and her team, and especially for you all imparting such important words to us today. I was reminded in some of your comments about my first job. My first job was in Gillette, Wyoming, which was an oil and gas booming town at the time. And it was, the work I did was law enforcement. And so we got to see firsthand what happens to families when they don't have any kind of support services. And the town was growing so quickly that we didn't have support services to offer families or parents. And the types of things that happened were awful. And then later, as the town matured and grew, we were able to put those support services in place, and it was remarkable to see the difference in being able to help families and have families stay together. And so I was really reminded of that when I heard your words, and agree wholeheartedly that Fort Collins has those kinds of support systems that can help all kinds of families. And I thank you for connecting people to them.
Thank you, Lori. And thank you. So I want to thank all of you. First of all, Angela, thank you for your leadership over these years. I just really appreciate the work that you do. And for the caseworkers that are here, just thank you for sharing your stories. Really, you know, pretty emotional day, clearly for all of us, right, as we contemplate this. And I usually say this every year at this time, but I believe that you're doing some of the most important work that we do in the county, and so I am so grateful to you and your colleagues and Angela, your team. This is, we can't be a good community if we don't take care of one another. And you are doing really hard work. And I want you to know that we see that and we appreciate that. And even though we don't see you working daily, I think about you all the time and think about how proud I am that we do this work and that we take care of people in our community. I have a big sense of pride about that. And I'm clearly not doing that work on a daily basis, but I have pride in knowing that you are. And the stories that you shared, the story, Jessica, that you shared around, you know, a hopeful message. Like you are changing people's lives too, right? You're making things better for kids and families in our community. That strengthens our communities in ways that some people will never realize, but we do. We know that it makes our community better, right? And we know it makes these kiddos grow up in a better space. And so I just have so much gratitude for what you do. I talk about this work all the time because I think that there again, we can make a lot of regulations on things and we can help things, but if we're not really helping people in our community, all that work doesn't really make that much sense, honestly. And so you're sort of the backbone of what we do is, lifting people up and taking care of one another. And so thank you for your work. And just know that, I know that there are hard days. I know there's days that you see and deal with things that are that most of us don't have to deal with, right? And just know that we think about you and we support you, and let us know if we can do that better in any kind of way. So thank you for being here for Child Abuse Prevention Month. We appreciate all you do to prevent child abuse in our community. And so we have a motion on the table, and then I hope you'll stick around because we have Tom, the great photographer, to take a photo of all of us. And so with that, all in favor of the motion on the table, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. We'll pause for a moment to take a photo, and we'll be back. Thank you. Well, thank you all for indulging us in that photo op moment that we had, and we will move on in our agenda. Our next item is the county manager update. In this case, it is the assistant county manager update. Lori, do you have anything to share with us?
Just one thing, Commissioners. I wanted to share my appreciation to the local chamber here in Fort Collins, who's invited us to speak 2 of their legislative sessions during the last month. And last Friday, I was able to visit with their legislative group about the state of our budget and about the landfill and projects that we have going forward. And it was a very robust discussion and helps us frame what we can do in the future. The Loveland Chamber was also in attendance and is very interested in the work of the county. And so I just feel like it's so important to have those businesses and community organizations informed and aware of what challenges and what opportunities we have as an organization, and to work together with them to solve some of the challenges we have.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions for Lori?
No, it just sounds like a good event.
Yeah, thank you for sharing those things, and I think it's good for them to share our budget challenges as we move forward so they understand that.
That was one of the interesting things, because you've attended those meetings before, so you know most of them are well-informed. And they shared the same thing we've been seeing on some of our survey information. How could the county have budget problems when you've got so much more property tax dollars? And so they were not aware, some were not aware of the percent of property tax dollars that we receive. And then we talked about, what has changed since post-COVID in terms of expenses, and how really, yes, we've had increases in property tax dollars, but it's all gone to maintain the services we had before. And so I thought it was a really good discussion, and I hope that they'll come with more ideas about what we could do together.
That's great. Thank you very much, Lori. All right, we will move on to commissioner activity reports. Commissioner Kafalis, would you like to begin?
Sure, I'll just share a couple of things. I've already shared 2 things. Along the same theme of partnerships and collaboration, especially with the business community, I was able to attend the North Fort Collins Business Association, at least part of it, last Wednesday, and provided some updates. Talked about the post-election survey regarding the transportation funding issue. So that generally it's a good thing, and it's important to have those connections. From there, and Lori, you were present, of course. We had our committee liaison committee meeting with Poudre School District and the City of Fort Collins, and we do that I think every 2 months or so. And good discussion about budget updates, learning new navigation skills in these uncertain waters that we find ourselves. And so that was a good meeting there. On Thursday, I went up to Red Feather Lakes for the first time in a while for a community conversation. There were perhaps 25 people. Overall good conversation. A lot of it was focused on the disbanding of the Red Feather Lakes Planning Advisory Committee, and I'll be talking with Lori and others to determine what's the appropriate follow-up. There were some requests and all of that, but it was a good meeting, and I'm planning to go back up now. It looks like May 8th, and we'll need to figure out all of the details there. Just also mention that, well, the other things that over the weekend, one is that on Sunday, I did participate and spoke a little bit at the transgender visibility rally and march. Folks gathered in Old Town. There were perhaps a couple 100 people, and then they peacefully marched along College Avenue from Old Town all the way to Mulberry, and then kind of divided up on all 4 corners and had a presence there for a while. And also, let's see, on Saturday night, is that right? Yeah, I was invited by some Turkish friends to the mosque, the Islamic Center, and they had the end of Ramadan iftar dinner. and that was interesting to be there. I hadn't been there for a while, so I was very happy to participate in that. And of course, the food was more than plentiful, and it was good to be in the worship area and see, folks praying and all of that. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Commissioner Cavalis. I'll be brief as well. On Thursday, we had an Urban Renewal Authority meeting with the City of Fort Collins and the Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority Board. And the one thing that I wanted to highlight is that, we are looking at potentially a loan from the Urban Renewal Authority and a grant to provide some funding for a deed restricted 76 unit multifamily housing project for low and middle income residents. And that'll be at 302 Conifer Street. So that's exciting because it's one of the first sort of kind of a combination of an affordable and middle income housing projects that we'll have in our community. It is hard to build middle income housing because there often aren't the same sort of tax credits and dollars available, but this particular project did get funding from Proposition 123. And so with this loan and grant, I think this project will come to fruition, which is really exciting because we do need more workforce housing in our community. And it's really exciting that the Urban Renewal Authority could be a part of it. The Urban Renewal Authority is really trying to be proactive about reducing blight and really creating good spaces in our community. And so I think I'm really excited for the work that we've been able to do to make this project happen. Well, there's 76 homes for people who maybe are paying at this time too much rent or driving really far, from far out places to get to jobs in Fort Collins. So that was a really good news item. I also had the non-attainment area air pollution mitigation enterprise, and we are almost we are getting nearer to awarding grants for those. We have about 11 applicants for the grant dollars that we have. So looking forward to being able to get those dollars out after the enterprise has been in place for close to 3 years. So, and then looking at bus rapid transit projects to be able to fund in coming years. And then, we met with our CCAT transportation group. And we talked about the Vulnerable Road Users Bill, which is a bill that I'll be testifying on this morning. And that is a bill that will provide some funding for bike and pedestrian infrastructure to be able to protect people who are in our community, vulnerable people in our community. As cars, zip around, we really need to make sure that we're protecting folks and building the kind of infrastructure that protects people that want to walk and bike. So that I think is a great bill that's coming forward. Will provide an enterprise and dollars to be able to address some of our safety needs in our communities. And that is it for me. And I think that's it for the agenda. So we don't have any legal matters and we don't have any other business. So at 9:53, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.